because it's way easier for them to make money. And that's what they like to do.
Yeah.
They like to make money. They like to be in bed with the lobbyists and the military-industrial complex and the pharmaceutical-industrial complex, and they like to fucking impose their will on people. And if you can't express yourself and say, hey, this is fucked up, this is crazy, why am I doing this? Like, these studies...
You know what's wild is this clip, taken out of context, he would actually be totally right if he was talking about billionaires. Read this out. Apparently we live in a dystopian hellhole where we can't say anything under the fear of government censorship.
Every government wants to eventually completely and totally control its population because it's way easier for them to make money. And that's what they like to do.
Yeah.
They like to make money. They like to be in bed with the lobbyists and the military-industrial complex and the pharmaceutical-industrial complex, and they like to fucking impose their will on people. And if you can't express yourself and say, hey, this is fucked up, this is crazy, why am I doing this? Like, these studies...
You know what's wild is this clip, taken out of context, he would actually be totally right if he was talking about billionaires. Because everything he's saying is completely true and valid in relation to billionaires. Multinational corporations, their CEOs, billionaires, investment firms, all that stuff. Yes, they do want to consolidate their power. They do want to concentrate it. They do want to do so in opposition to democracy and democratic processes. That's all true. They love censorship. They love censoring stuff and at the same time trying to tell everybody, hey, by the way, we're not censorious. It's the other guys who are all about censoring. But he's talking about Justin Trudeau in Canada. Because for some reason, the right really, really has a hate boner for Justin Trudeau. Like, he's just like, he's public enemy number one.
Show that you're not correct. Like, if you can't say all those things, which right now you can't do in Canada, it's not the same. Like, their ability to express themselves on the internet has been severely limited. It's real weird, man.
In what way, though? What do you mean? Do you mean what other people have told you? I can say a lot of things. I can say a lot of things and not get in trouble. I could say Joe Rogan is a chaser who's obsessed with trans people. It's probably one of the reasons why he's like consistently trying to vilify them and go after trans people, is he also loves masturbating to trans porn. He's admitted it on a show. He loves masturbating to trans porn. It's a big thing for him. He's actually described to his co-hosts that he loves masturbating to trans porn because he feels it makes him more straight, which is another strange thing where he's like, it's just like, it's everything you ever wanted, right? It's like you get to see women, it's all women, but then one has a penis, and so like it's not gay, bro, because at the same time, like, you know, accidental ally kind of shit. Really weird. I know it's all just basically wrapped in one of those Russian dolls of just bigotry and horniness all in one. You can say that. I'm not worried about someone kicking down my door. If you're saying that I can't talk ill of my leaders, I can. I can say that Justin Trudeau is a piss man who's made mostly of piss, who actually really does genuinely suck in a lot of ways. He's done some good things. He did. Joe, you'd love this one. He legalized weed. So, I mean, you love weed? There you go. That guy did the only thing I think you'd ever care about when it really comes to policy. There's that. You can legally buy weed and smoke weed in Canada, thanks to him. But yeah, he does suck. He's a massive piece of shit, you know. And at the end of the day, I'm not worried. I don't care if someone's gonna kick in my door, or like I would care if someone was actually gonna go after Chico. I mean, if someone came after Chico, I've said before, I'm not a violent man, but I will turn violent if you come to attack, you know, Chico or my other loved ones. But yeah, no worries about that. You can say what you want here. You know, it's kind of similar to the United States in that, you know, I couldn't tell people to assassinate the president. I couldn't tell people to assassinate the prime minister. That's grossly illegal. Yeah, very, very illegal. I mean, that doesn't fall within the purview of free speech. But the thing is with people who hate the whole kind of like, you know, or the free speech absolutists, I should say, they too agree that there are limits to speech, right? I think everyone could agree on this one. We shouldn't have child sexual abuse material. It shouldn't exist. We shouldn't have it available for people to consume. We shouldn't have it for people to, like, it should be illegal to manufacture. It should be illegal to distribute. That's something that we can all agree on. So we want to limit the ability for people who distribute child sexual abuse material and limit their speech. That on that one, we're probably all on the same page, right? That's a good thing. But then what they usually are talking about is their ability to say the N-word. Because right-wingers love the N-word. They all just, I mean, that apparently to them is that's where freedom was lost. Back when they used to be able to say it all the time, you know? And you still could. It's just people are going to judge you, right? That's it. You can still say the N-word out loud, but people are going to probably think that you're a massive-ass racist. Because, I mean, a white dude who wants to say that so badly is most likely a massive-ass racist. Kind of just, you know, goes part and parcel. Charlie Jinmere, thank you very much. The U.S. government is literally scrubbing anything conceived as trans, even on the Stonewall Monument. Free speech, my ass. It's true. Yeah, that's why this like entire conversation or debate or whatever you want to call it is kind of weird. I mean, at the end of the day, Elon Musk hates speech. He really does. He's one of the most anti-free speech like advocates you could ask for. He's consistently, doing whatever Modi asks of him. That's coming from a government level where he has to again limit the speech of people who are ethnic minorities in the country of India. That's something that Elon Musk complies with all the time. He loves censoring people's speech. If they are again, oppressed minorities, then he's all about going after them. Most of the people who are free speech absolutists, they want their own particular forms of speech to be the freest. That's all it means. That's all they really care about.
Real weird, and it's happening right. You could walk there. If you wanted to, you could walk there. And it's fucked. Yeah. It's like it's on the same patch of land as us, and it's fucked. It just shows you what can happen here if you don't have the right laws. Because people like that fuck.
You might have, I don't know, public health care in America. I mean, wouldn't that be devastating? It's weird. If you go across this imaginary line, one that you can walk to. You can walk to Canada if you are in certain parts of the United States. Otherwise, it might be a couple days journey. But if you happen to be in one of the the neighboring states, you could walk right over the imaginary line. And it's weird. As soon as you do that, the price of insulin suddenly just plummets. It's like a magic trick. It's like you just walk across this, and then all of a sudden, boom. And then you can afford it. You can afford to buy the insulin that you need to stay alive. So that's pretty wild. This weird little trick that you got there. I don't know why that happens. That as soon as you cross the border in the opposite direction, suddenly it just like doubles, triples, quadruples in price. Strange.
Ed, Justin, they pretend
you guys
that
are on first name basis.
Yeah, that cocksucker. They pretend that they're, and I don't talk this way about anybody.
No, I'm really surprised.
I genuinely despise people like that. And I think it's good to say it publicly because people need to understand like what these people are doing. These people are leading you on the road to legitimate communism. Like he's leading that.
Saying a lot of words. I don't think you know what they mean. I can tell you this as a Canadian, we're not communist. We are not. 100% a neoliberal capitalist country. Yeah, in many ways, we actually, had our origins in, colonialism, as well as a large part of Canada actually used to be owned by a company, the Hudson Bay Company. Used to own a whole bunch of it. It was just pretty silly to have a country that was owned by a company, but that used to be Canada back in the day. Yeah, not communist though. Definitely not commie.
Country on a road to legitimate communism. It's very dangerous.
And by the way, legitimate communism actually kind of sounds awesome, right? I mean, at its core, when you ask someone what is communism, communism is Stalin, right? And that's what it is. No, I mean, like I'm just saying theoretically, what do you think communism is, right? No unjust hierarchies, that kind of thing. Not having anything that we basically have to equate all of human labor into wealth and extraction, and then use that wealth and extraction to enrich a certain class. So you have no class, no money, no classes, no money, no hierarchies. That's in essence what it's supposed to be. I can tell you that, yes, historically, most times when it's been attempted, it finds different versions of itself, usually state-controlled power. That part is true. But, I mean, at its core.
And I think most Canadians are fed up with it. At this point, it's just like the party up there has so much control. And he's been forced to resign, so he's got to step down.
He was not. He chose to resign of his own accord. He was not forced to do so. Virtually nothing that has come out of his mouth in this entire 1 minute and 35-second clip has been accurate. No, he chose to do that. He was not forced to resign in disgrace, as you should.
And just hopefully they don't get some new slick talker to con them into the same old bullshit. Hopefully someone comes along that has like real meaningful change.
And I'm guessing that person is Pierre. He wants Pierre Poilievre. All the right seem to love Pierre Poilievre because Elon Musk loves Pierre Poilievre, and he's a conservative, all right. He's a conservative who's now talking a lot of game about wanting to be a builder, and he talks about how builders built this country. It was the laborers, it was the hardcore electricians who harnessed the power of thunder that came in through the electricity into the wires. I definitely have not been working as part of a well-cushioned government job, pensioner, my entire life. He's got a great setup, this guy. And then what does he say about Elon Musk?
Elon Musk seems to be a fan of yours. He tweeted a 100% emoji recently in response to a tweet that says, Pierre Poilievre is extremely impressive. He should be Canada's next leader. The sooner, the better. I'm wondering what you think of this, and do you accept his endorsement? In French and English, please.
Well, first of all, my 3-year-old has just told me that he wants to go to Mars. So I guess Mr. Musk would be the right guy to put him in touch with. The fact is that it'd be nice if we could convince Mr. Musk to open some of his factories here in Canada.
No, it would not. Let's stop that. I think we should be doing 100% tariffs on the swastikars. Don't let anyone drive them anymore. They're bad. They're apparently just terrible vehicles in general, but now they kind of represent this whole far-right movement that's taken a lot of energy around the world. And, I don't really want things to turn all American over here. I feel like we need woke. We need wokeness. And by that, I mean love. We need more love. We need more diversity. We need more equity. All right. We need lots of it, because now it's turning biblical. You see what happens when wokeness starts to go away? Even a small percentage of the wokeness goes away, and we get this. We get planes falling out of the sky, like it's straight out of the Bible. And I know it's kind of a meme at this point because people are like, what the fuck is going on? I too am wondering that, by the way. What the fuck is going on, America? Or the planes are just falling out of the sky all the time now? It's just like every other day. It's like, oh yeah, there's another plane crash. There's another plane crash. Yeah. Isn't that a really huge thing when there's a plane crash? We're talking lots of people on the planes. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of them under Trump so far. It might have something to do with the whole, him firing a lot of FAA regulators. That might play into it a little bit. I don't know. But they seem to be blaming black people, black folk. Yeah. They're saying it's because of diversity, and women too. Oh yeah, this is women's fault. This is definitely women's fault for crashing all the planes. Women, this is women. It is, all those women crashing those planes. Even though, what is it? Over 91% of all pilots in the United States are white men. This is white people's business. All of it. Planes crashing is white folk business. It's just across the board. When a plane crashes, most likely it was a white person crashing a plane. If a plane crashes into another plane, most likely it was two white pilots crashing into each other. Like, how that helicopter crashed into a plane and killed a bunch of people in the United States? That was white people. It was two white pilots smashing into each other. Now, I, for one, am not a racist, so I'm not here to say that this is something inherent to people with white skin. I don't, as a white skin person myself, I don't think that's something that, just comes genetically predisposed, that if you happen to be white, you're really into crashing planes. But it is getting weird. It's getting weird that as soon as Trump comes into power and he says he's getting rid of woke, he's getting rid of DEI, he's getting rid of all these policies, suddenly the planes just fall out of the sky. All sorts of stuff is happening, We got big balls trying to take over the U.S. Treasury. That's the thing that's happening. He's trying to destroy actual financial systems. They're crashing as a result, ending all U.S. aid to foreign countries, and that's obviously leading to mass starvation and death. It's basically like all the things we were told that were going to happen under Y2K are happening under Trump. Because if you didn't live through it, we were all told that, hey, by the way, Y2K is coming up, and apparently, because of the way our dates are set up on computers, that little change that's going to have to go from the year 1999 to the year 2000 will cause massive disruptions in all of our computer infrastructure. It'll cause planes to literally fall out of the sky, and the financial systems will suffer, and a lot of money just might randomly be concentrated into the hands of big balls. All that was supposed to happen with the Y2K. Luckily, there were tens of thousands of really, dedicated engineers and coders who prevented that from happening. For the rest of us, for me, sitting at home as a kid, it just seemed like it was a thing that wasn't real. I was just like, oh, they told us that all this stuff was going to happen once the year 2000 hit, but nothing really happened. It was all a massive scam. It wasn't a scam. It was a real problem, and one that human beings solved. We saw that there was a problem, and then lots of people worked really fucking hard to solve that problem. And now this is another problem, is the planes just crashing, coming out of the sky, Planes, hold on. Planes, no. Planes falling from sky. What exactly happened to the plane in Toronto? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, if you watch it, it's actually incredible work by the pilot who saved the lives of everybody for an emergency landing, and the plane landed in a crash landing, but then ended up flipping afterwards.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
And then flips here.
Oh no 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 no! Are you seeing this airplane?
Harrowing. Incredible work again by everyone involved to try and make sure everyone was okay. Please always respect and listen to your cabin crew. This is not a meme, at least not anymore. When they're telling you secure and fasten your seatbelts, that's important. When the plane flipped upside down, you would just fallen straight down. So being in a seatbelt does save your life. Make sure that you apply and affix your own oxygen tank before helping others. That can also save lives. And then, with many lives in their hand, they will do everything in their power to try and make sure no one gets hurt. And this is just one of those moments where, it was certainly an emergency landing and a very, very dangerous one at that. But it's one that has, not had any fatalities. A couple of people are in critical condition. And outside of that, it's, terrifying. I think everyone has a fear of flying. If you've ever flown before, you know the takeoff and landing, the very nerve-wracking things. But statistically, you're more likely to be injured just crossing the street or driving a car than you are in an airplane. They are very mostly safe. It's certainly confirmation bias right now that is making it feel as if the idea of taking a domestic flight in the United States could be exceptionally risky. I think now is not the time to hand over FAA regulations to Starlink. I know right now people are suggesting that Elon Musk take over and that he can use his advanced AI, Grok, to try and perhaps reduce the amount of crashes and fatalities that are happening right now. But I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think anything should be handed over effectively to Grok or Musk. I think he has proven himself to be inept at almost everything he touches, and quite destructive actually. So that's probably not a great idea to do that. This is the moment the Delta airplanes flipped over and crashed at Toronto Pearson Airport. All 80 people on board survived the incident, which is a miracle, to the very least. The one piece of good news to come from all this, but I don't know. I don't know how many more other crashes are going to have to happen before someone actually takes a look at it. There might be a reason why there are a lot of agencies in place. Like I know Joe Rogan's libertarians, anarcho-capitalists are looking and dreaming of a world in which government doesn't exist at all, and it sounds awesome to them. Most likely because they're, I would assume, wealthy. If you're wealthy and you have lots of money, well, doesn't that sound great? You just take for granted that society already exists as is, and that it doesn't really have any moving pieces, and that wouldn't it be great if you didn't get taxed or you didn't have to pay any kind of money whatsoever to try and keep that whole society thing going? And so that's basically why they love that idea. And then you try to bring up, well, I bet you didn't know this, but the roads are actually paved and provided for as part of government programs. And they're like, okay, fine, maybe I'll make an exception for the roads. So government can just exist in totality as a road manufacturer. Why don't we just give that up to a private company or something? Well, if you like packages, parcels, that's most likely brought to you by a government worker as well. There's other things that they do. I don't know if you know how complicated flight paths are, but there's I don't know if you've ever seen the picture, a lot of planes in the sky at any given time, lots of them at different depths, at different speeds, going in different directions. We're talking thousands and thousands of flights happening, and it is quite a miracle, if anything, if not just really hard work done by a lot of people to make sure that we all just don't smash into each other in the skies. Because, yeah, the idea of flight and flight travel makes sense because it's like, well, you can just take off. You don't have to worry about traffic. You can go much faster. There's a lot less stoppage. You're just going in the straight direction, and then you can take off in one point and then land in another, and that sounds great. But then when there are 10,000 of those all happening at the same time, we need to coordinate the best way to make sure that all the planes safely take off and land. So, yeah, it's not wokeness. It's not DEI. It's actually, the human beings working hard day in, day out to make sure that people stay safe in the air and stay safe in general, like the air you breathe, the water you drink, stuff like that. It's good to have agencies that are going to try and regulate corporations, because corporations left to their own devices don't seem to always have humanity's best interest at heart. I don't know how many examples you need of that to be the case, but that seems to be the biggest problem with, say, just letting unfettered capitalism, unregulated capitalism dictate how society works. It seems to usually work in the direction of benefiting the companies and the corporations themselves who run those things. So.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Attention everyone, this independent series is made entirely possible thanks to our patrons. It was produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Bohem, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, and Words Greenwood. Not to mention all the other patrons we now see on screen. We couldn't have done this show without you. If you can help support the show, please check out patreon.com/the Serfs to unlock bonus secret episodes as well as get the content before anyone else.